Now, the glitter, kitsch and politics of the Eurovision Song Contest were out in full force last night.
Ukraine's Jamala clinched victory from Russia, who had been hotly tipped to take the title.
Yeah, with us to discuss the highs and the lows of the night are radio presenter Antony Mercury and superfan William Hanson. We'll talk to them in just a moment, but first let's have a look at the winning entry.
The winner of Eurovision 2016, Jamala, representing Ukraine.
OK, so with us is Antony Mercury, presenter on KDO, and William Hanson, Eurovision superfan, joining us now. How was it for you?
Well, it was quite good fun.
Yeah.
But not a particularly memorable year,
No,
I think.
No, for songs-wise, not memorable.
You sound really downbeat about it. and honestly, and the reason it's not a criticism, but usually you kind of, the run-up to Eurovision, everyone's getting the parties ready, and it was a change of format today, this time in terms of the judging. It was going to be great.
That bit was good. I think
Yeah.
that the changing to the voting helps because it's been quite protracted over the years and it does begin to get a bit tedious. But actually, it was quite nail-biting.
Yeah, and that change in the voting is what gave us the suspense right up until the last minute, because Russia was still in the lead for a long way through it, and then we saw big rises, people like Poland coming from quite far down the table to put in here.
For no reason whatsoever as well. 7 points from the jury, but 222 from the public.
Does it tell us how out of step the juries are then in terms of what makes a good song? I mean, what is it that the juries are looking for versus what the public is looking for?
I think juries are probably looking at actual performance, and they're actually looking at the songs and if they're sung well, if they're in tune. Whereas the public sometimes maybe are looking for a gimmick, which possibly explains why Russia did really well.
And there were plenty of them last night.
Lots of them.
Why do you think Ukraine did so well?
I don't know, because it was a terrible song. I'm sorry, it's awful.
But loads of people didn't think so.
Last year, I think a lot of people in the UK went and downloaded Monza's song, whereas this year, I think very few people will be doing that with the winning song.
Let's talk about the hosting. We were talking about a really memorable moment. Graham Norton, who, for UK viewers, that's who we were obviously hearing, paid tribute to Terry Wogan. Yes. 8 years ago, handed the baton over to Graham Norton. Of course, we lost him in the last year, and got everyone to raise a glass just before the 9th song, because that was his advice to Graham Norton, wasn't it? You don't have a drink until song 9. How did Graham Norton do? What were the presenters like? How did they grab you?
Graham's great. I think he just took over seamlessly from Terry Wogan, even though he was nervous to start off with, but he's done it for enough years now that he loves doing it and he knows how to pitch it. But the presenters last night were possibly the best we've ever had. In terms of the humour that the presenters normally try and put in, which falls on deaf ears, Mons and Petra are great. Petra's loved in the Eurovision community anyway, but together they just work perfectly.
They had a very English, dry humour to it, and I think that appealed here.
Yeah, because I want to ask about that. It's a difficult job to do because you've really got to... that humour has to translate across so many different countries, so many different in-jokes. As you said, it's the Eurovision community that loved her. How did that translate last night? It worked, you said.
Completely.
Yeah,
I think it worked. There weren't any awkward moments, as there sometimes are with the hosts. And I think, Graham referred to it numerous times that they were doing an incredibly good job.
What about the actual stage performances? When we've run a report on it, we've warned every single time, rightly so, be careful, strobing, flashing photography, flashing... Oh, Antony, you're in case anyone didn't just hear. Oh,
she got my "What the hell are you wearing?"
Oh no,
award
for me,
night.
she got this. I love the way she's channeling Bjork.
In a way, but I think she was also channeling 4 costumiers at the same
Yeah.
time who didn't decide what she was going to wear.
It's nice to see Camilla Bettman-Gaelic getting work.
Well, it was an interesting backdrop, wasn't it? But there were so many different costumes, and in terms of performance, they really were pushed out. They pushed the boat out, didn't they, this time?
They did, yes. The staging in terms of the actual stage was very good. It was LEDs this and LED that. Russia's staging was very interesting. I know you were saying it was a bit of a copy of Monz's winners from last year, but the sort of the rubber and the climbing up the wall, I thought that was good fun. We're seeing it now. Yes, I quite
How much of a surprise was it that Russia, that was tipped to win, didn't?
Well, it was Russia and Australia. They were 1 and 2, and Australia had it all the way through, right till the end.
Rightly so?
I think so. I think Australia Danny had the best voice on the night.
It was very
Russia.
Sia-esque. It was Sia, but without Sia.
We've seen the pictures of the Russian entry with his losing face, of course, clapping the eventual winner. How much of a disappointment will it have been for him?
Oh, I think a huge disappointment, yes. I mean, I think for any of the competitors, if you don't win, but when you come that close to it, and for Australia as well. But a phenomenon, they've only beat this the second year, so great that they've come so close to the top.
Okay, I'm going to reverse the question. How much of a relief that Russia didn't win it? I tell you why, because traditionally they would be hosting the next Eurovision,
Yes.
and with the controversial laws on LGBT regarding Russia, it wouldn't have sat well with the Eurovision community, so
No.
to speak, but also with fans, general overall fans, occasional watchers.
I don't like the political aspect. I don't like political voting, but in terms of Russia, that's why until they change their laws, they'll never get a vote from me. I just can't vote for them, even though I like the song.
Okay. Well,
Jess,
we're going to
thanks very
talk a lot more about this a little later on throughout the morning, because it's what everyone's talking about this morning, Eurovision, whether you loved it or hated it. Give us your thoughts as well. We'll have Antony William with us a little later on.